All right, so I'm about to do something very controversial, and that is I'm taking out the Alpha X Lux headlights and the Dynamics Elite Series fog lights. And I'm gonna change it up a little bit. You know, I got to keep testing products for recommendations for customers. So I do sell lighting, as most of you know, and I am very happy with the Alpha X headlights. I've had no issues whatsoever. They look great, function perfectly, perform great. Same with the fog lights. Just changing it up, that's all it is. So, still love both brands, nothing wrong with them. But as you see, I go through wheel and tire setups all the time. Nothing different with the headlights, taillights, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, gonna say goodbye to the Alpha X for now and swap in some stocks that I painted black and trying to show you guys the difference between two high quality bulbs and the stock halogen bulbs. So it's gonna be a good time. I already swapped out the fog lights. Whew. So the fog lights that I put in are the Morimoto 4Bangers, HXB, and the wide, like the fog beam and white, obviously. And so now I'm going to put in the stock headlights that I painted black. I'm gonna show you the difference between a standard halogen bulb that came with the headlights, the Morimoto 2-stroke 3.0, which should mimic the beam pattern almost perfectly, which is what they're known for. And then I'm gonna do the absolute brightest headlight, which would be the GTR Ultra 2. So I'm excited to see how those perform compared to the halogen, because a big thing on Tacoma forums is how LEDs are trash. And that's true if you get cheap ones. I hate to say it, but buy once, cry once. If you spend 20, 30 bucks on Amazon, you're gonna scatter light all over the place. You're gonna piss people off, and you're gonna, not have good performance because you're gonna be scattering light way into the trees. I've seen it before, especially with fog lights. Fog lights, when people throw cheap LEDs and fog lights, they throw light up into the trees. Fog lights are supposed to be low and wide. So it's just crazy how misinformed people are when it comes to lighting. They think that, a 20,000 lumen bulb exists, which it doesn't. They're just, upping the numbers every year to get more and more customers. That's all it is, just a marketing ploy. So I like to actually test things in hand. I've tested the cheaper bulbs. They don't compare. When you get 3, 5, 8-year warranties or lifetime warranties, depending on what brand, versus maybe a 1 year if you get something on Amazon, and they might just keep going out on you. They're not properly engineered. So anyway, enough of that. Time to swap the headlights back over. One thing I'm definitely gonna miss is the projector setup. I love a clean cutoff, great high beam performance. These are excellent headlights for the money. I think they were $840. Definitely expensive, but so worth it compared to a lot of the cheap Spider and all those sub $400 brands are absolute garbage. Don't even waste your money. So here we have the painted set of headlights. Just did a nice black. Lenses are really gross. I will clean them, but we have these bad boys and these bad boys. So I have the halogen bulb in there right now. Already swapped off all the LEDs here. So I'm gonna plug these in and show you the output. It's not gonna be perfect because it's still a little bit sunny out. Just look at the increase in numbers and not necessarily the numbers, because if you tested it at your house, it'd be slightly different. But I do have a meter that is pretty accurate. So here we go. All right, so OEM painted is in. And honestly, I like it because I'm not a huge fan of a lot of black accents. And I'll be changing these wheels up anyway. But it's just a lot of black on the front end. I already have the fog light pocket, the fog light bezels, the bumper right here, the grill, the little antenna. I don't know, I don't want the whole headlight black. And this is just the perfect subtle amount. I like that. It's clean. Kind of matches the fog light. So anyway, let's show you the halogen bulb. And it'll actually be, I need to unplug this because it's gonna overpower it. It's like 3 times brighter. A totally different view. I switched these to amber. And so now having all white is definitely a little different. Fuck off. And then there is the halogen. Oh my gosh, you can't even see it. Sorry, I just got done camping and I haven't put away any of my stuff. All right, so there's with the halogen. Obviously does not mix well with the LED. There's the beam pattern. So I'm gonna get a measurement and then we're gonna swap out to Morimoto bulbs. So I tested low beam and high beam. Low beam came in at 470 lux. High beam, which is what it's on now, came in at 700. So if you remember the last test I did, it came in at 900, and it's because there's totally different lighting, fully different setting. So like I said, just focus on the increase, not the actual numbers themselves, because you could do this at your house and get 1500. But this isn't an open garage with, you know, it's not even sunset. So just take it with a grain of salt. And here is the Morimoto bulb. Here we go. Okay, so in this video, you can actually see there's actually a cutoff, which is nice. Oh man, yeah, it looks good. The colors actually match pretty good in person, and this, like I said, is super dirty, so probably just coloring it just a little bit on camera, but in person, actually fairly close. Oh my gosh, this is so much brighter. Okay, let me get some measurements. There we go, now you can kind of see the color. Pretty close. LED bulbs, especially dual filament bulbs like an H4 and H13, like on Fords, it's really hard to match the 6000K color on standard, you know, like turn signal bulbs or parking lights. You guys really aren't gonna believe me, but 2100 lux. I'm gonna try my best to show you. This is a great angle. Let's see if I can find it again. There's 2000. 2133. So that's just low beam. You can tell you can actually see a beam pattern. It has a little bit of scatter above, which is okay. A little bit is okay to light up road signs, but that should not be, like if I'm looking at it, it's not that bad. I will probably need to aim down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and measure high beam. You can see dedicated hotspot right there. And I'm gonna do this off camera. This is so much easier. 2200 with that. Not really an increase, but just shining up now. So overall, I mean, God, 470 to what, 2100? That's like 4 times brighter. So now I'm gonna throw in these, which are consistently the brightest, but I wanna make sure it has a good beam pattern. And then I'm gonna decide which one I'm actually gonna put in my truck. All right, so for all my Canadian people, before I forget, this is extremely hard because normally I would just hold that away. Oh my God, now I gotta take the headlight out because the effing clip just fell. Anyway, cool air goes in one side and hot air comes out, or warm air comes out the other side. You know why that's beneficial? Because if you live in a place where you want an LED performance or HID, but you have halogens because they melt snow or ice, these will do that. These get warm enough to where it will actually melt the ice and snow off of your lenses. So very, very convenient for people who live in the Midwest or Canada, anywhere else that gets a lot of ice, snow. All right, here's the beam pattern for the GTR Ultra. I I would say it matches slightly better, but the color, at least, you know, in person, does not seem that different. And you can hear that fan going. It's got a fan and a driver. God dang. Okay, so that is definitely brighter. All right, so there it is with high beam. Very clean. Let's get some numbers before it gets too dark. I don't want the numbers to be skewed too much. This is pretty interesting. 1600 lux on low beam, but a whopping 2600 on high beam. So let me look back at the footage and decide which one has a better beam pattern based on the camera. But do you want low beam performance and a good cutoff? Or do you want high beam performance with a pretty good cutoff? I'm very happy with that. Very, very little scatter. So I'm excited to see which one has a better beam pattern. After looking at the footage, I would say that the Morimoto has a slightly better beam. It's got more of a band, so and a hotspot also, which is nice because that means it'll shoot further. I just think that chrome looks so good with the fog lights, and like it's not as much black. It just looks so clean. And they're OEM, so you know they're gonna perform. All these cheap $100 black headlights that look just like this, right? They look just like this. Their chrome is not as reflective, okay? So you'll get way, way more scattering. Like a low beam will be worse than it'll be like a high beam. You know, shining up in the trees and all that, but not actually hitting the road where you need it to be. That, and they're not sealed properly, so you'll get condensation like crazy. The lenses will fade. Like I said, I haven't even cleaned these. I don't know, you just can't beat that OEM Plus look with those Morimoto 4Bangers. Oh, boy, what a great, oh, I guess I can show you combined. I have not aimed these yet, so these probably gonna be super high. But here is the GTR bulbs with the Morimoto 4Bangers because I don't feel like swapping them just for this clip. Boom. Nice wide band of light. Sheesh. You see where I'm kind of going with this though? All white LED look. I don't have that plugged in, but it's just a little projector. I don't know. Very clean. Very, very clean. So I'm gonna put the Morimoto bulbs in actually, because they're a little bit brighter on low beam. And I already have these fog lights. They're literally the brightest fog lights you can buy. And they're on with my high beams anyway, so I already have plenty of performance. So a lot of people think that whenever you put an LED bulb in here, you try and jam the dust cover over it, stretch it all out. That's not how you do it. What you do is you can twist this collar right here and remove it. See if I can do it one-handed. All right, so you see that? You can rotate this. So what you want to do is rotate it till you can slide it off, mount it, okay? Once you mount that in, boom, lock it down, lock down the base, put the dust cover over it, put that in, twist it, good to go. You just want the LEDs facing just like this. This is pointing forward. You want the LEDs on sides. There. You rotate it all the way, collar comes off. Mount it just as you would. Boom, secure. I gotta mention there are like two little tabs on top and bottom, which will align with that and that. And that's how you clock it properly. Ensure that you have a proper seal. What you're gonna do is trim off this piece on the boot. That way it can press all the way through, so you can rotate it to where it's properly aligned. And once you go as far as you can, there's actually notches on the bulb to where you can't go anymore. So all you have to do is align those nubs like I showed you, twist all the way until you can't anymore, and then it's perfectly aligned. That way you have a watertight seal, properly aligned, everything's all good. So yeah, take some snips, just cut that portion right there, up, cut it off, and good to go. So I'm gonna do the other one, toss these suckers in before it gets too dark. Okay, here's the final look. I love it. Very simple and clean. I'm still trying to work on the DRLs. I'm probably just gonna go with an amber LED bulb because I have switchbacks now. And while the work when the truck is off, when the truck gets power, when it's on, white and orange both light up on the bulb. And I don't feel like doing any wiring to make this work. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just throw an amber bulb in there, so it'll be amber DRL and turn signal. So that's how it's supposed to look with everything on, with the white running lights. But unfortunately, it's like it looks pink because the white and orange are on together. So I'll just do an amber bulb in there. It'll still be pretty clean. And if I like that, maybe I'll change this to amber instead of white. But white looks good too. I do plan on throwing in a stock third brake and stock LED tails. I already have them somewhere over here. I bought them because my truck did not come with the LED tails. So I already have bulbs in there for a reverse and a turn signal, but these are super, super bright turn signals. And brighter reverse than what I have now. But I'm gonna miss these taillights because they are pretty sick looking. And it kinda matches what I got going on here. So we'll see. I don't know, just changing it up, that's all I'm doing. But for some reason, this third brake light has always bothered me on the two doors. If it was color matched silver, it wouldn't stick out. Update on these, still love them. Still waiting on the fronts, unfortunately. But everything is, actually it looks, it's come down quite a bit. That's good. This was way too high in my opinion, but now I don't have any weight in the bed or anything and it looks pretty level. I'm gonna measure it. Okay, so good news, they have actually dropped about 3/4 of an inch. It's at 38 1/4 from floor to flare. The front is 37 1/4. So with an inch difference, I'm going up 1/2 inch in the front. I'll be very happy with that. The rears were at 39, so that was a big difference. There was quite a bit of rake. I didn't like that. It was leaning too much. So I think this will be perfect. But enough about that. This was about the headlights and fog lights. And I'm gonna run the Morimoto bulbs for a while. I might do the ultimate headlight mod, which is, as most people know, an H4 halogen bulb with some relays and stuff like that. And there's actually a booster to make it even brighter. Of course, this kills the life of the bulb, but you know, a halogen bulb will perform better in these OEM headlights. So I might do that because that would be a very cool test to see in real life, because I've only seen it on the forums. But yeah, I might try that out if I can get a good bulb that's a nice color, because I just wouldn't want to do like a 3000K halogen with 6000K everything else. Just wouldn't look good. So I want performance and looks. So I don't know, I'll definitely try that out once I give these a test for a few weeks.